Hi everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. It's my pleasure to welcome you to week 3 of the TFC Mad Monday series. We've got a stellar commentary crew for you tonight. We've got Simon Brierley, who's stepped in from ART to help us out this week. We've got Tim Mennell and Lord Baines from Team TFC to help talk us through the race. So just to give you a little bit of background on what we're doing. Obviously, you've probably seen a little bit about this before, but 9 races over 9 weeks to try and see which team is really one of the best on Zwift and particularly see which is the broadest. And at this point so far, ART is definitely showing all of us how it's done, particularly with their strength across all the categories. But we've basically tried to do something a little bit different, have team racing across smaller categories. So rather than having the issue of riders that maybe get upgraded from a C to B and really just feel lost in the races because they get dropped, we're now giving them the chance to race in a smaller B category, and then we've introduced B+. Have a look on the TFC website, you'll see all the details, but really trying to make it a bit more competitive, better races for everyone to take part in, and so far been a great success. So thank you to all the teams that are taking part and supporting the series. In terms of the types of races and what we have in store for you tonight, we've got 9 laps of the Duchy Estate. So it's a pretty tough course, unrelenting, I think you could say, where you're either going up or going down. It is Yorkshire. I don't think there's really anywhere on the course where it's flat. And on laps 3, lap 5 and lap 7 there are bonus points available for the first 10 riders across the line as well. So it should be a good race tonight, and hopefully lots of action for us to talk you through. But whilst I get started on the making sure we're following all of the races and don't get left in the pen, Andy, given you're probably one of the oldest TFC members, not in age, just in tenure, but I wondered if you could give us a little bit of background to Team TFC. Explain to people where the team's come from and what we've been up to for the last 4 and a bit years now. Almost 5.
Yeah, it's been a long while. It feels like a long time. I think I was venturing onto Zwift when it was Jarvis Island in 2015, and then realised that spinning around on your own on a dumb trainer wasn't really too much fun, and started reaching out with some of the teams out there, and TFC happened to be the ones that kind of came back first. It might have been Andy Baird actually at the time, I think, and what have you. But so yeah, I've been around on the team since the early days, dipped in and out of all sorts, and I would say historically Team TFC have been a bit of an underdog team, always concentrated on the D-Cats and the development into the C-Cats, and have always had a strong uptake on that. I would say very recently, and I'm going to bring you into this, David, in your recent joining of the team. I say recent, what we're on now, a couple of years, but I think
3 years now.
I can't believe how quickly it's gone. There's been a real uptake in the rest of the categories, and I think TFC has always been about development. It's always been about the racing hard and the racing fair, not taking life too seriously, which is where I come into it. But it's been very, very impressive to see the team grow into what it is now. And I'll be honest with you, and people out there will know this, we used to be a bit of a butt of some jokes. We didn't get our in-game jersey straight away. I think we're one of the last teams to get an in-game jersey, and we've just gone from strength to strength. So yeah, it's good to be part of the yellow train, which is TFC.
Yeah, cheers, Andy. And I'd say it's been definitely been impressive to see some of the Cat A and Cat A Plus riders also starting to give us representation, and a big shout out to the TFC women who've been racing in the Pro-Am series as well for a couple of seasons and holding their own in the Swift Racing League, which is, as I'm sure you all know, pretty competitive at the top end and not without its controversies as well. But, Tim, as one of the more recent joiners to the team, I wonder if you could just give us a bit of a background while the racing gets underway. We will join it shortly. We are following all the races. But, Tim, just a few words on how you find it joining the team.
Yeah, so I joined probably last June now, I think it was, just as coming out of lockdown and realising I need to do something. Rugby wasn't very kind to my body. So yeah, got involved. I think it was yourself, David, that actually sort of got me onto the team, and I sort of struggled in DCAT for quite a while until I took the advice and sort of developed from there and managed to get myself promoted into C. And then the more time I've spent with the team, it is very inclusive in TFC. Everybody's really friendly. Everyone will do anything for anybody, and I've sort of in return picked up additional duties to support him with putting the TT teams together, to help him with the ZRL teams, and I think it is that community spirit now that we were talking about, and we're seeing week on week 5 to 10 riders promoted to the next category, which is causing some really good headaches and strengthening as we go up. So yeah, especially at last minute on a Thursday when you've got a really good team picked, it doesn't help, does it, Mr. Mulholland?
It doesn't, especially when people like me decide they're not feeling so well and don't turn up as well. But I think that's something that, Simon, you've probably had to deal with a lot in ART as well, where I believe you help out quite a lot on the team time trials. I wonder if you can just give us a bit of background on ART, where the team came from. Again, thank you very much for the support for the series. Definitely one of the biggest supporters we've had. And, how you find the team and where it's come from.
Absolutely. So I'm probably similar to Tim, whereas I joined the kind of the Zwift racing world straight into art around June time last year, kind of middle to end of the first lockdown period. I wasn't personally a very fond Zwifter. When it first came out, I was very much out on the road, and my background is Ironman triathlons, so very much using the likes of other platforms. But however, something different, which was the exciting thing about Zwift and being able to get involved, and certainly something to be able to utilize the likes of all of the art team are actually racing on Atom watt bikes. So to be part of the team, you actually have to be racing on a specific type of smart trainer, and if you would call it that. So yeah, I've been involved. I initially started off training and racing with the Thursday night team time trials. Very quickly went up into the ACAT, and we were trying to push our Frappe teams on that Thursday nights as hard as we can. And then I stepped aside, became a little bit more of the de-essing side, which is director sportif in the cycling world, of supporting the teams to get the best out of them on the Thursday night with the likes of Discord channels, and it's kind of just evolved. And I'm sure, David, you've seen that, you know, the roles of using the mics and what we're able to do tonight to support those riders who have actually turned up to race is fantastic. I'm following tonight the women's team, the women's race in itself, the BCATs, and it's really good to see that we've actually got a few, an increase of numbers there week on, week out, which is fantastic to see. Obviously, always encouraging people to get involved and get stuck in there as best as they can. Come and give it a go. That's the wonders of Zwift racing or Zwift platform, is that you can race within challenges and likability other people within your categories. As you go up, it does get harder. So yeah, I'm sure we've all been in that position where we wish we actually didn't get fitter, because we soon realised how hard it really is to go up a category in the racing world on the e races side of things. But yeah, it's exciting to see the number of races that are out there, the leagues. The Mad Mondays series, as you're talking about how many seasons you've been coming through now. It's fantastic to see that. The community is good.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. And yeah, it's as someone who's just got back into the BCAT, having briefly had a respite in C through lack of training. I lasted one race, and I did check with the race organizer before doing it. But yeah, it's been it's part of why I'm commentating tonight, because otherwise I need to get a bit more fitness to really get back into the racing scene properly. I guess we should take a quick scan through the races. See how we're doing.
Yeah, it looks like it's Bengston and excuse the pronunciation. We were talking about that earlier, and Leichberg, who have got quite a early breakaway, and they seem to be working quite well together, and trying to build upon that gap in itself. So it's looks as though they've got away, definitely.
Yeah, I think interesting point that you made on the brief was that they actually went through the sprint, which wasn't actually a prime for the first time. It looks like few people had a bit of a go. But yeah, looking at where they are at the minute, a couple of people trying to push on. I think the first climb will start to spread the field. I personally, looking at the field and knowing the guys racing tonight, I don't think we'll see a massive break. I still think we'll be seeing about 30 guys together after that first hill.
I'm just looking at Swift Power at the minute, and it's the usual names from a TFC point of view. You've got Dave Hill up there, Bob John McGill, I'm going to go with. I can't pronounce Bob's surname. And Damon will be up there as well, somewhere as well. So you're not going to see, like, while the pack's that big, they're all moving around. Danielle, who had a fantastic race last week on the hills and showed us all how to climb a volcano, she's up there as well. So again, she'll really benefit on the hillier parts of the course, which would be really good for her, but does struggle on the flats and the downhills. So I don't think, as Andy said, I don't think there'll be a breakaway. I think it'll be a real tight 20 to 30. It's the same people we're seeing riding on a Monday night as on a Tuesday, as on a Saturday, and no one seems to be able to get the match of anybody else.
There's some new, well, I say some less familiar names that I'm seeing in there. If you look at Zwift Power, obviously it's a slight delay on that, but the DZR is mixing it in there. But when you look at the first split, it's the usual suspects in there. We've got a good representation. We've got the Lone Rhino, Zwift Scotland, obviously the ART are in there, the Swedish. It's again, and I think this is the beauty of this league. We get such a wide representation, and I think the C plus and the C just makes it so much more competitive. I think if you'd have just sat this as a complete C and let everybody go out again together, you'd have seen this split right from the get-go. So obviously now what we're seeing is a considerably tighter race. And like I say, to back what Tim's just said, I don't think we'll see anything until at least half to 3/4 through on one of the hills again.
Yeah, I think you're right, and sorry about my audio issues. That was a OBS setup issue by changing my mic setup tonight. So hopefully
Might be before then. I think you're looking at before then. Oh, are we third lap, aren't we? Sorry, yeah. So you're looking at, yeah.
race here again. Definitely got the Swedish Swifters are definitely going after it tonight. That's two riders have got 15 seconds off the front already. Not the biggest groups, so there's more of a chance to get away, but they've done a good job to get away and see how long they can hold that for, really. If they
that chase group seems to be reasonably realised that they need to work together to either try and bring that deficit back down, or at least make a race of it. 15 seconds is quite a lot on the Zwift world. And if these two, I mean, just looking at the Zwift powers for both of them, certainly Anna, who as far as she's showing pretty well on the FTP side of things, on the 20 minutes capability. She's one of the strongest in the field. So she's going to be doing a lot of work for those two, and if it does come down to a bit of a sprint on the preems and stuff, whether they're going to be working as a team and letting one of them take most of them, or battling it out. And but as a team, it is a team sport, it is a team event, so I'm sure they'll be working on the Discord channels of the team comms, that they'll be deciding that on who's taking what and where.
I was watching the Discord chats today for the B pluses, and they were definitely getting very tactical about which sprints they were going to go for. So I'm intrigued to see if that comes to fruition, or if
Somebody's gone. Ooh.
that'd have been a
Yeah.
mighty sprint if it had held on to that. It went out. It went a long way out. We've all learnt from that one.
I think that might have been Andy Turner, but yeah, Ben Harris and David Wilson, TFC, have come through strong on that one on the Bs.
Given the C's aren't too far behind, it looks like they've just started their climb as well. As have the women. So still pretty tight between them, but see if those two Swedish Swifters can hold it. Looks like oh no, we've gone too far. There we go. So it looks like they're definitely going. Wow, that's is that 3 or 4? 3 Swedish riders up the front. They definitely want this. That's a long way to go, though.
Behind, I think there's a group in front of them, judging by what you're looking at as well.
I think the riders up in front are a lap behind.
Oh wow! Right, okay.
You can tell by the distance.
I was going to say, but you're looking at some of the names on that lap behind, and I'm a bit shocked. But anyway.
Yeah. It's not Damon's night.
No, definitely not.
So it looks like this is a selection of 4 up here. 3 Swedish riders. Is that?
Jen in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the live, it kind of shows the split now. If you look at it, you've still got people coming down the first, effectively the first hill at about 8k, and you've got people 2k in front.
It looks like Pearson's gone for it. Is he going to hold on? Looks like he's got it. And I'm going to say, is that Norwood? Trying to catch the name. Came second, followed by Nielsen, I think.
David Heavey was up there as well at one point.
I wonder if they'll hold this. That's quite it's a selection of 6 riders up the front here. I wonder if they get together and work together and try and keep that breakaway. Just jumped to the women's race. It looks like the Swedish Swifters have walked away with that one.
Yeah.
Bit of an effort going on behind to take 3rd place though from Tompkinson from ART. Big effort. Big watts to get clear over the line. I wonder if she's going to press on and try and close that gap down.
Cass, yeah, she's capable of it. I mean, she's a strong enough rider to be able to do something like that. But those two are really pushing it quite hard up the front there. It's just opening up.
Yeah, it's 7 seconds. I wonder if she can dig in and go, she might close that down now.
It's definitely the Swedes in the Cat C race that are taking this now. You've got 3 guys working together there. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some big TFC names that have been spat out, which is quite a surprise, I must admit. So,
be interesting to see if that chase group gets together. And if
probably not the best circuit for some of our guys.
No, that's true.
No, you got. Watch it at the minute, but it's about a kilometre behind at the minute. So I was watching it, trying to work out who's on the front group, and we're about a kilometre behind. So
So yeah, the Swedish Swifters. Mats Nilsson, Roger Persson, and Eric Josephson.
Looks like those two front groups have come back together.
Simon, you've got a David Hyvey, who's an ART Neon. He seems to be holding his own, one of the lone ARTs. Actually, there's a Joe Fernley as well that's holding his own. We've got a couple of TFC, Bob, Jongeneel, and Jimbo, our Mallorcan cyclist. So again, it's whittling down fast, is this CCAP race.
It's a tough course, and I wonder how they'll make it over this climb, because the sprint the last lap will have definitely fatigued a few. I wonder if the Swedish Swift riders will try and break it up again. It looks like they're sitting in this time, letting someone else set the pace.
Yeah, they've definitely gone for the points.
Yeah.
Bob's really laying it down.
He's been impressive the last few weeks as Bob. It's the first time I've ridden in a series with him, and he's been really impressive. Really, a really strong rider. He's been leaving the likes of myself, you, Dave, all in his wake, and yeah, brilliant. Really good to watch.
And there's Danielle again, coming up to the front. See if she could.
Yeah.
That was an incredible breakaway last week, where towed it all the way into the finish. So, just trying to keep an eye on the women's race, because it looks like we've now got a couple of groups forming on the road. So the Swedish Swifters are still up the front through the climb, but we've got two riders seem to have got together, Jolly and Tompkinson, one from Zwift Scotland and one from ART, trying to close things in a bit.
Yeah, Jolly started off from the gun quite strong. She led the whole group out off the start line, and she was pushing quite hard. So she seems, if Tompkins can stay with Jolly and they can get something rolling there, I think that's going to be a good duo there to kind of like, as long as they don't try and drop each other.
All right.
Some good TFC representation in that race at the front. No, I think that was blatantly obvious, wasn't it? I was just going to sit in the middle. There is. That's interesting though. I mean, you look at this group dynamic at the minute, and obviously one of the big talking points out of the new Zwift release was that new improved, if you want to call it that, blob dynamics. I don't know if you guys have experienced it yet, but I found it quite interesting, the moving around. And I don't know if any of you guys listen to the podcast that Simon does as well, and there's some really good explanation of how it's supposed to work, which actually, if you're getting frustrated with it, listen to the podcast and then you kind of go, yeah, I get it now. But I must admit, I found it much easier. Oh,
you got Brady at the front. He's not going to do, and Gubby to top 5.
Mats
Nielsen was up there. I'm not sure who the other one was.
So look.
The C's, because they're not going to be too far behind. Looks like they're just coming in the last little kick.
Yeah.
So how big is this group? The group's come back together. It looks like, is that another group's caught them, or was that the?
I think it is. There's 14 in the front group. It looks like they've caught up because I'm seeing Mr. Hill's name in there again. So I'm not sure if they've all mixed up again now with. But there was 14 in the front group originally, and yeah, they've caught up with some of us.
Yeah, it looks like those guys have got back on together. So
look.
Yeah, just coming into the start of their climb. And there we go. And we're climbing.
It does get a little bit confusing looking at the live stream and then looking at Zwift Power, and you know
I
that
know
there's a delay there.
it's so far behind. It's confusing. I think they're definitely easing off a little bit. I think on this lap, if you look.
No, so Dave Hill is up there then.
Yeah,
I think he was in the group behind, and then they've got back on.
They have got back on. So you've got David and Bob, certainly. Dave Hyvey, ART, is up there still. I think. Oh no, there's a couple. So what we've got?
There's a guy. I can see
Seems
three
to be a
ART
couple of each.
jerseys.
Yeah.
Danielle's moving to the front there to push the pace a little bit.
I think the Swedish riders may have backed off slightly, although they're still in that front group.
Yeah. I'll tell you which riders haven't backed off. The Swedish Swifters in the women's race. They're still pressing well ahead. They've still got a nice 10-second gap in that one.
Massive respect to that. I've been caught in no man's land so many times, either on my own and in a small too, and it's the toughest thing in the world to keep going, and they're going and they're smashing it out, so fair play.
Definitely. Once you get that initial 5 to 10 seconds, you know that it's going to be a hard work for someone to pull that back. Let alone two of them. I've actually I've lost visuals on the ladies on the screens. But however, I'm watching the live stream, so when you do click over to that, David, then it's
sorry guys, I'm just catching the end of the C sprint. So Pearson's going to take it. Closely followed Campbell by Z Scotland, and then Nielsen, I think, from SZ. So David Hill was up there, I think, in the top 5 that time. So good effort from him as well. And sorry, Simon, we're back on the women's now. Just didn't want to miss the sprint. I'll never be forgiven.
Fair enough.
So David normally always does well on the sprints. I think every time I've raced with him, he's always won the sprint.
Oh wow. So just watching this, it looks like Tompkinson's put a big effort in this time. She's closed back in, yeah. 3 seconds now.
Just waiting for the feed to come back in.
That'll be it.
On the live.
So Tompkinson's closed in to 4 seconds on the leading Swedish Swift riders. She's put a big effort in to try and close that gap this lap, which is like kudos. If she can bridge that before they get to the descent, she'll get a bit of a chance for a breather.
Yeah, so she's pushing the guys, the girls at the front there. They are, they're averaging around about 3 watts to 3.5 watts to 4 watts per kilo. So she's done well to maintain a good smooth effort. She's broken away from Jolly, and she seems to be closing them down. If she can push towards that 4 watts per kilo, she certainly will be looking to catch them, because they are. I'm surprised they're only hovering around about 3.5 with 2 of them there. Whoever's on the front is pushing 3.5, 3 to 3.7. They may struggle to stay away from her.
Yeah, if she gets a little kick again on the next climb, if they don't press too hard, I think she can bridge that. It's a big effort to go from 10 seconds down to 3 or 4 through the climb.
Yeah.
So
She keeps bumping up to about 4, but then that's obviously just a slight incline there. You've got a 2% climb, just coming up under the arch, and then it'll be interesting. This is going to be a good one to watch, definitely.
it looks like Jolie might be getting back in on her as well. So we'll come back to them.
Yeah. Win the catch. Yep.
That's a big bunch. Right, yeah, so I'm just looking now. If you look at the category blob in the BCATs, you've got 10 riders at 4 watts per kilo, down to the next blob at 3.9, and then you've got to go. Ooh, let's have a look. Oh, yeah, it pretty much doesn't drop below that until you get down way a minute down the pack before it drops below that. So yeah, right on the limit, and so the sea cats, they're all averaging about 3.2. So there's no let up. Oh, did I see Phil Sudworth on the bees as well?
Yeah, Phil's racing, yeah. C's are on the 5th lap at the minute. They're about to go to the 6th.
So if they're on the 5th lap, that'll be their, yeah. That'll be right, won't it?
So the C's will race the prime this lap. I'm not on the B's, but I would assume they're not that far ahead. Yeah, they should be approaching it now.
Yeah, 21 and a half K they're on. Well.
Dave Wilson was in there, I saw on you, and Phil Sudworth up there as well. Be interesting to see how they. Oh, big representation there.
Coming through.
Oh, but that's awesome. By is it Pereira?
Let's see if anybody presses on now. I've always found that. I think, so many people sit up after that, but it's interesting to see how many press on. I've just noticed one of the TFC guys, I'm trying to look at the screen, they're really pushing on off the back of that sprint. No, gone now.
I sympathise.
Jelly legs. Somebody is. Oh, is that Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, it is.
Well, to be honest, it really is to the detriment because
I was about to say,
yeah. Nah, no chance. So it's hardly a wise move by any accounts.
So if we jump over to the C's, they're just starting to pick up their climbs. So I'll leave Tim and Lord Baines to call it.
It's nice to see. I've just gone back to the live, albeit 30 seconds behind, and Phil Rowe with Cryogen. Nice to see him up there. Raced with him this Saturday on the Endurance Series, which was a nice, just over 40-mile race on a Saturday morning. So yeah, he's a strong rider. So again, Bob is holding his own up there, looking at the figures. Although the power's dropped off very slightly, it's still seeing the same people. The Swedish riders are in force, and to be fair, so is everybody else. ART, and we've got a good representation from Danielle still there. Obviously Dave Hill and Bob. We'll just call him Bob. If we can't pronounce his surname properly, we'll have to get him
go
on.
with Bob. Bob. Dutch Bob.
Dutch
but no,
Bob.
I think they're just heading up towards it now, and I think this is where you'll see, especially with the points on this lap, you'll see that the stronger riders come and put a spurt on here. I know in the last couple of races, I've suffered at this point where you've tried to stay with them, and whilst I've scored, I've burnt myself out for the climb that comes just afterwards. So I'll be intrigued to see who goes for this.
There'll be a squeeze, go away. There'll be a squeeze. Danielle's putting herself
Danielle,
in position.
yeah, I
by
was
the
going to
looks
say
of- yeah.
Danielle's just putting herself in position now. You've got, is it David Heaney?
David Hill a bit. It's interesting tactic for Danielle because she's really got to use the blob and get carried along as much as she can. And obviously, with the sprints being the points, the bonus points, it's quite difficult for her. So she's doing really well to stay in with that pack.
Doesn't look like
they
anyone's
seem to
attacked
be
it too hard this
pushing.
time.
I was just about to say they're only sat at 3. They're not.
Yeah,
I mean, they're starting to go now, but
They'll roll now.
there you go. There's David.
Here he goes. Here he goes. Here he goes.
I tell you what, I think he's left it too late there.
Too
though.
late. You've got to be going on that bend, I think.
You've got to really push through. That's what I found in the past. You've really. Oh no, there
He's
you
got-
go.
Whoa.
on, lad.
Oh my word, go on,
No,
Dave.
no,
Oh!
Whoa.
I'm going to blame that. Dave had a tooth out last week, and the dentist absolutely ruined half his tooth and has left half his tooth in his mouth. The poor
Yeah.
guy is on so much painkillers. It's untrue. We were racing on Saturday, and he was telling
That's
me
that's
on that
no
weekend-
excuse. That helps.
no,
He just
no,
can't
no.
feel the pain.
I've got to look after my training partner. I've got to look after him. He was upset that I wasn't riding with him tonight.
He's a very strong sprinter. I mean, and let's just give the listeners and viewers a little bit of facts here. He's probably one of the heaviest guys out here, 103 kilograms.
Sorry.
Yeah, he'll be upset that he's the heaviest because I'm not riding tonight.
Well, that's Dave after he's had more ciders and crisps.
Give me another couple of hours. Not long to go. So if we jump into the women's race, it looks
Yeah,
like
it seems as though she's dropped to 4th. So I think Jolly actually came past her. She made the catch, Jolly, on Tompkinson, and has ridden into 3rd. Not too sure. Can't see the gap to the front ladies.
it's about 7 seconds to Jolly and 37 to Tompkinson.
Yeah, so it seems as though she's put in quite a big effort. About 5k back, and she made that, but then she just got caught, and Jolly just rode straight through Tompkinson. So it's a real shame. Unfortunately, she didn't go with her. That would have been obviously something to hang on to.
Yeah, definitely. So we're
Pace looks like it's picking up pace there as well by the looks of it. That just caught my eye. They were really picking up the WKGs then.
we're not too far till the end of the BCAT race now. The
3.3.
distance is about 29k, so they'll be getting ready for the finish really here.
I see Mr. Robinson's worked his way
Yeah,
up
so about
towards
what,
the
3?
front of the group.
Yeah, I think
He's
they'll.
been quiet of late, I think.
He's been training for
He's not been very well.
triathlon quite a lot, and he was under the weather. a
Oh,
bit, and I
don't
know he's
start! Don't start with the
Whoa,
triathlon.
Tim.
Honestly.
Whoa. Banned. No. Triathlon. Right. You don't run unless you're running away from something. Let's put this out there right now, eh? So what you got wheels for? You'll learn to swim when we throw you in the sea as well, Tim.
In Spain.
In Spain.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
It's really kicking up in the bees here anyway. Oh, let's go to the
Come on,
bees.
Robbo. He has been a bit under the weather, hasn't he, Mr. Robinson? So it's nice to see him.
There's quite a few TFC jerseys up there though.
Hopefully he doesn't break his bike.
Joe Gentleman.
He's never done that.
Oh no, he's never broken a bike up a hill.
When he was trying to chase me down.
Fun fact, viewers, Andy Robinson has indeed broken a bike going up a hill.
David Wesley did on the TT the other week, snapped his crank.
I think that Andy Robinson's done that a few times. The chain stays was the impressive one there.
I've still got the pictures.
Looks like Steve wants this one.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Is that Peruzzo? Is it Peruzzo again?
Who's that?
Neil. 3 Neil.
Go on.
No.
Oh, no.
That one's going to have to go down to Swift Power. That was too close to call.
What's it calling?
I had Willow in second or third. I think he left it too late.
That was close anyway.
They need to be pushing up, but this is what. Yeah.
Well, that's the B race finished because I've been dropped anyway.
As a big blob anyway. I'm surprised it stayed together for so long.
So, C on the C race, looks like they're coming round for their penultimate time through the banner. So one more lap for the C's, and yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's got away off the front yet.
Yeah, that's a big group. That's a what is it? 23 riders, Tim?
Small. My Swift Power's that far behind, but it isn't a massive group. There's these four slightly off the front here. But
yeah, there is.
They're gonna get swallowed up here. I think this is gonna be a fast finish in this group now.
Yeah, so everybody's back on it. So you've got that 23 riders all together here. So, and what's the points, David? Do you want to remind everybody how many points is it?
Yeah, so for the first person over the line at the finish, you get 100 points. 90 points for second place, 85 for third, and it kind of tells its way down to about 50th place or so for 2 points for every rider. So trying to encourage people turning up and racing as well. There's still something in it, even if you're not in the top 50. For the primes, if you came first over the line, it was worth 20 points. Second, it was 17 points, I think. Third was 15, all the way down to 10th for 1 point. So all in, there was about 160 points on offer if you managed to pick everything up. And yeah, it's sadly we can't do live scoring. If we could, if we at some point, if we maybe get some favours from a few people, but as it stands, you'll have to wait for about half an hour after the race until Swift Power starts to get all the numbers and starts to update for you.
So they're ramping up here. If you look, there's a big push going on the Sea Cats now. They're hitting over 4 watts per kilo.
About 1.5 kilometres to go, so they'll be pushing. It went before this last week. It went from about 2.5 out last week. So.
Swedish Swifters trying to press on again.
Danielle's still up there.
I know, yeah. She had another really good race.
Oh! She's sticking her nose out. That's unless she thinks she's going to get swallowed up. But I'm waiting for the big guns to come through fast now. Swedes have gone out. Here we go.
Only got
I think that was accidental by David Hill.
Just one pedal stroke too much.
No, he seems to be keeping it up.
Well, he's only doing 3 watts per kilo though. I don't think he's trying to be out there.
He's not doing anything yet.
He's going to let himself get consumed, but he needs to be careful if someone really presses hard. Oh, he's picked it up.
Just steady, yeah.
Here comes the Swedish.
He won't stay away.
No. Not on this, not on the hill, not with that weight.
He's trying.
He's pushing, go on lad. Here come the Rhino guys.
Right, I'm just watching for Dan. No, you see, if I was Danielle now, this is where I'd be really pushing.
I think don't count
too early.
It's not the thing about this one is it's because it's fairly flat and the speed's pretty high. Like they're still doing 31k. There's quite a big draft, so even if she can put out more watts per kilo, she'll just tow everyone.
Here we go, right there.
As Pearson's gone.
Early.
It's not bad timing. Let people get caught in the traffic.
No one's chasing him either. No one's chasing him. There's one of the Rhinos guys is chasing. Danielle's having a go, but he looks to have gone at a good time there.
Cool, that's a long way out.
It's still a good 200-300 meters.
Yeah. He's hanging. He's not even in the red yet.
Oh my word.
Cool.
He's got it. Nobody's gone.
Nobody's even close.
That was the start of it.
Nobody's even close.
Free run to the finish.
Dear.
Bob and Danielle were arguing over second place.
Right.
No.
Where is? Yeah.
Well, it looks like Danielle came in about 5th there. I'd say 5th or 6th.
Yeah, she was.
Swedish Swifters have definitely taken the C-Cap by storm tonight.
That's a good
They
result by them.
it as one, didn't they? That's fair play.
Yeah, they did.
It is an interesting one though, isn't it? Because you don't want to show your hand too much, and if there's a substantial amount of riders in there, and you try and work it as maybe a team time trial, you're just going to take everybody along with you. I mean, David did well on his sprints tonight, as expected. Probably the biggest shock of the evening for me was seeing Damon off the back.
Something must have happened. To be that far behind, something must have happened, whether it's a disconnection or whatever. But I mean, if you're not at the front, you're not in it. Essentially, are you? So,
as we know, or as I know.
Yes, yeah.
Right. So while it looks like the women are coming into their final climb, are they?
Yeah.
No, they're only at 17 kilometres.
17.
It's in miles. It's in miles.
Okay.
My profiles are my extra profiles for the camera cars aren't set up quite right.
So
apparently Damon says he had his COVID shot yesterday. That's his reason. So.
Well, that's fair enough. We'll take that. David Wilson got an FTP increase from 385 watts to 396 watts in that race.
Bloody hell.
So he really put the effort in on the sprints.
I think it's going to take a big effort by Jolly if she's going to close that down in this last line.
Yeah, they've been holding her at 7 seconds. I think that was the plan from the gun, that they thought that they'll go out, two of them sit out the gap and just hold it at 7 to 10 seconds. And if they see anything closing back up, they'll just put the hammer down a bit more. They're now riding at 4 watts per kilo. Jolly's trying to push more. She's you can just see her. She's just slightly on a little climb there. But I don't know what they're up to now, these two. They're certainly going to seem to be kind of like yo-yoing in who's taking the pace on and leading, and they're pushing up this little climb here now. Lindbergh is coming back into the lead.
I wonder if they'll battle between them for the win.
I mean, I don't know what the rankings are at the moment on for these two riders, and who would want to be taking, who's working for who, basically, or who's trying to get most points out of whatever. If it's a close one between them, then obviously they will battle it out. But if one of them is actually a lot clearer on the lead on the series, then you would have thought that they would be, making a statement and taking a commanding lead.
There we go. I think Lindbergh seems to take that one through anyway. So if we jump over, we'll have a quick browse through on the results if my browser would come back.
Yeah, we've seen the A's and the B's. See the A's and the B's at the minute.
Yeah, so the A+ race, Hewell Davies, who's been doing really well in the series so far anyway, came over the line first. And in terms of the primes, these are laps, as it shows in Swift Power, it'll be laps 4, lap 6 and lap 8. So
Just to state that Hewell is a thoroughbred triathlete, long-term triathlete, veteran of the sport. So just to emphasise that one, I know him very well.
All right.
We had some off mic banter this morning on triathletes and cyclists. So
sorry, somebody mentioned triathlons again. I just nodded off for a moment.
That's all right. They're the true cyclists anyway. So there we go.
So I think I'm gonna say, given his performance in the primes as well, I think Hewell's probably taken that one. Given third, second on the primes and first over the line, that's going to be hard to topple. Gustav looks like he's not there in the primes, so I'm giving that one to Hewell. And John Lee, I think, is probably up there as well. He's showing up in a few of the primes too. So second, third, and first. If we jump to the BCAT, have we got that through yet? Yep. So Robin Anderson across the line first, then followed by Chris, and then Andy and VCRT, and Steve got fourth.
Yeah, Steve did well.
And on the primes for the Bs, they are through. So fourth lap, yeah, Chris Holler and AHDR, we saw that. Ollie and then Pete Brooks. Premick, I'm not going to even try. Chris O'Halloran, and then Steve got some points there as well. And then Mike Taylor, we saw that one, Sherpalock and Andy coming through. So we'll run all the numbers, we'll get the proper results for you. It won't take us too long, and we'll have that for you. We'll just get the C result now that it's rolled through. We saw there Roger, won that one clearly, 1 point, just over 1 second clear of the bunch, followed by Phil Rowe and then James Broadbent. And then Freiburg. So I think, as Swedish Swifters have done very well in that one. And I'll see if we can get the low end cat races before we drop off. So in the A cat race, VCRT, well done, Sean Harris. Good effort there up in third. Again, Swedish Swifters are definitely showing their strength in the top end races. That's 5 riders in the top 16. And I'm guessing probably showing up pretty well in the primes as well. Yeah, well done, Michael. Yeah, we'll run the numbers for you. We'll get it for you very soon. Well done, Grant Anderson and Kent from WWCC. So we will, rather than keep you waiting too long, we'll go and run the proper numbers, get the results for you. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Thanks to all the teams for supporting the series. Thank you to my merry band of commentators, and look forward to seeing you all again next week. We travel to New York next week for, I think, one of Nick's favourite courses in Gotham Grind, one of the very few who chooses to. If anyone has any complaints around the course selection, I think he's done a great job, but point all the complaints to Nick. I'm not taking those. So anyway, thank you everyone. Have a good evening and see you all again next week. Thanks all.